Just what you've been looking forward to, right?
Oh no.
Oh no.
We have words now?
Mm-hmm. Am I writing it? Then you write it. Because here's the deal. If I solve a word problem and you go back to study from your notes, if you don't have the word problem written down, you're going to have no idea where the problem came from. Not going to be very helpful for you. All these word problems are like 1 or 2 sentences. They're not like paragraphs. An ostrich that is 108 inches taller than 4 times. Hang on. An ostrich that is 108 inches tall. Not taller, tall. Hang on. I totally wrote this question down wrong. An ostrich that is 108 inches tall is 20 inches taller than 4 times the height of a kiwi. There we go. Now my sentence makes sense. Skipped ahead of myself there. It's a bird. It's a bird, it's a fruit, and it's also a nickname for somebody from New Zealand. So I don't know if we're talking about a kiwi bird or a person from New Zealand, but probably a bird. Probably a good guess that it's a bird. Okay, so how tall is the ostrich? 108 inches. This is my ostrich. Let's describe the kiwi. Is 20 inches taller than 4 times the height of a kiwi. We don't know the height of the kiwi, correct? Okay. So I'm going to call the height of the kiwi X. Because it's what I don't know, right? Now, I need to figure out how do I treat X to get it to equal the ostrich. So let's see. It is 4 times the height of the kiwi and an additional 20 inches. How do you think I write 4 times the height of the kiwi? That's 4 times X, right? And what? Where does the 20 inches come? Plus another 20 inches. So in other words, if I take the height of the kiwi, multiply it by 4, and add 20, that would equal the ostrich. Is that a difficult equation to solve? No. Okay, what do I do? Subtract 20 from both sides. 88 equals 4x. Divide by 4. And x equals what? 22 what? Kiwis? 22 inches. So the kiwi is just under 2 feet tall. Right? Because 2 feet tall would be 24 inches. So it's a little bird. So? We're just going to practice these because word problems come in all different types. Ready for the next one? Mm-hmm. Thank you. All right, I don't want to hear any comments of this is too much or anything like that. I'm not asking you to write an essay. I'm just asking you to copy a few sentences. You will survive. All right, this one, I know you're still writing. Don't worry. I want you to try and figure out how to do it. I want to give you a minute to think about it and see if you can come up with a way to get to the answer. I don't care if that way is an equation or not. Could be something else. Could be a different way that you logic to the end. But I want to give you a minute to try this. Okay, those of you that have answers, did you come up with an equation or did you do it a different way?
Equation.
Equation? That's so boring.
No, I didn't.
Did you do it a different way?
Yeah.
How'd you do it? Explain your logic to me.
Okay, so what I did was 245 minus 125, which gave me 120.
And what caused you to do that?
Because that's just how I do math.
But what does this mean? What are you doing? You're subtracting what she already has saved in order to identify what? How much more she needs to get, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And then what'd you do for there?
I divided 120 by 15 and got 8.
And that's telling you what?
How many weeks she needs to put $15 or I don't know.
Okay. Excellent. Those of you that came up with an equation, what was your equation? Go ahead.
245 equals 15x minus 125.
Okay, so here's another way. That was one way. Here's another way. So tell me how you came up with this. 245, obviously, we know how much, that's how much the bike costs. And then how did we come up with 15x?
Because she adds $15 every week, so x would be weeks of how many weeks?
So x is the number of weeks. So if x is 1, 15 times 1 is 15. If x is 2, 15 times 2 is 30. It's how much she's adding. And then why did you subtract 125?
Because we're figuring out how long it will take her to save enough, not how much she has. So you subtract 125 from how many weeks.
Because she's already got that saved up, right? Okay, so that's stuff she doesn't have to save up. And when you solve this, did you get 8 weeks also?
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. Anybody do it any different way? Yes, ma'am.
I did it like that, but I put 245 equals 125 plus 15.
So yours is another equation way. You just wrote your equation like, how did you say that?
245 equals 125 plus 15.
Okay. Are these two equations the same?
No.
They're not the same. What's different about them? One has positive 125 and one has negative 125. Now, question for you. I should have written, I'm gonna write this first one over here again, just so that I have room to actually do some solving. So going back to that first equation that I had, if I were to solve this, wouldn't I add 125? That means 15x equals 370. Does she need to save $370? No. So how could we make that equation match that one? We should make it a positive 125. Good catch on that one. Okay, so what we can say now is it doesn't matter whether you write the 15x first or the 125 first, as long as it is plus 125. If we subtract 125 from each side, what do I get? 120 equals 15x, and then we're dividing by 15, x equals 8. Now, if you look at the arithmetic that you're actually doing, you're starting off by doing 245 minus 125, which was the first step that you gave me, right? And then taking that result and dividing it by 15, which was the second step. So his logic was following him through the process of solving the equation, just without coming up with the equation in the first step. Okay? What'd you do?
I did the same thing, but I was thinking you could also do 245 minus 125. Oh, wait.
245 minus 125. You can.
Yeah, combine like terms. Oh, yeah. And then equals 15x.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Combine like terms.
Yep. And that gets you your what? 120 equals 15x. Yep, that works as well. Nobody did it my way. How did I do it? Well, I said in week 1, actually, to start off with, she has $125. In week 1, she's going to add $15, so that means she would have $140. In week 2, she has $155. In week 3, she has $160, $175, $190, $205, $220, and hang on, I added something wrong, didn't I? Okay, is that correct? 55. This would be 70, right? And this would be 85, and this would be 200, and then this one would be 215, and then 230, and 245. Is any one of those ways better than the other?
No.
Yes.
As long as you have the correct answer.
It doesn't really matter because there's no one way to logic something that's better than another way. For some people, it's really hard to come up with an equation. But that doesn't mean that you can't answer the problem, right? That's what I want to make sure is important to you guys. I don't care if you can come up with an equation. If you can come up with an equation, fantastic. If you can't come up with an equation, that doesn't mean you cannot solve the problem. There are ways around it. This does not follow an equation. It just follows my logic. I'm like, well, least I can do is at least go each week, how much money does she have in her piggy bank sitting there? And I can get to the answer that way. Do I get to the correct answer? As long as I know how to add 15, right? I get to the correct answer. So I'm not particular about do you come up with an equation, do you logic through it like this, do you make a table kind of idea? As long as you have something to show me about how you logicked your way to the answer. So no matter which way, you should have something to show me how you did it. So?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's do numero 3. Chelsea cleans out her closet. She gives half of the t-shirts in her closet to Goodwill. She then goes shopping. And gets 7 new t-shirts. So in other words, she was cleaning her closet to make room for new stuff, right? If she now has a total of 22 shirts, how many shirts were originally in her closet. By the way, on your homework, you do not need to write down the problems. Okay? It's just on your notes. It doesn't make sense to have work with no problem to explain where it came from. All right, you take a minute and see if you can figure that one out. Okay. So, what'd you do?
So I took the numbers and things that I needed out of the problem. So
Okay.
I put all the sides like 22, 7 and a half.
So you did like 22, 7 and 1/2.
Yes.
Okay.
So then the problem says that she had taken half her clothes out of her closet and then given them the Goodwill and added 7 more and she had 22 now. So I subtracted 7 from 22
So you took 22
and subtracted 7.
and you subtracted 7 because this is how many she had now.
Yeah.
And if you take away the 7 new ones, that means she had 15 after she donated to Goodwill, but before she bought new ones. Okay?
And then I multiplied by 2 because I knew that if you're having something that you're taking half of it away, so that's multiplied by 2 and you add that half.
So multiplying by 2 counteracts the cutting in half, right? We would say it's the reciprocal. So you're saying she had 30 shirts. Okay? Anybody write an equation? Nobody? Mm-hmm. What equation did you get?
22 equals 7 plus 1/2 x.
Mm-hmm. And the process of solving this, you would subtract 7, which is what he did in his first step. That means 15 equals 1/2 x. And then how do you get rid of the 1/2? Multiply both sides by 2, which is the same step he did there. That's a perfectly fine way of getting to your answer of 30. Okay? It's the same logic. It's just one is a little bit more I don't want to say mathematical because they're both mathematical. One is more formula based and one is more logic based. Okay? Questions about that one? Okay. I'm going to try this guy here. Hang on. Take out the word even here. The sum of 3 consecutive numbers is 81. This is one of my favorite types of questions. All right. What does the word consecutive mean? That's the first thing you need to know in this one. Like in a row, like 14, 15, 16, 21, 22, 23. So you need to find 3 numbers in a row, consecutive, that when you add them together, you get 81. See if you can find that. All right. What'd you do? What's the answer? First off, what do you think? You think the answer is what? 26. If you're saying the answer is 26, that would be the smallest of the 3. So you're saying 26 plus 27 plus 28 equals 81. Let me verify that on my calculator. 26 plus 27 plus 28 is 81. How did you get it? How did you figure it out, Naomi?
Well, this is kind of like a dumb way to do it.
There's no dumb way to do it.
I just divided 81 by 3, and then I got so I got 27, and so then I just figured that it would just be 27, and then you would add 28, and then you would add 26.
Okay. So that was kind of my thinking. I thought, okay, 81 divided by 3 is 27. So if I have 27 plus 27 plus 27 equaling 81, I'm going to take 1 away from here and add it to there so that I have my 3 consecutive numbers. Okay, same kind of idea? All right. Anybody do something different? Yes, what'd you do? Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, I knew it couldn't be in like the 10.
No, don't call me. Go ahead. If you want to do something, you can.
Okay, one more time.
Well, I knew it wouldn't be in the 10s or the 30s because you do 30 times 3 over 81.
Okay, so the 30s, 3 times 30 would be more than 81. 3 times 10 would be way less than 81, so you knew it wasn't there. Okay.
So it had to be in the
Okay.
35.
All right, so what'd you do from here?
Then I just kept adding everything.
So you did a guess and check method. Okay, so you tried maybe 22, 23, 24. That didn't work. 23, 24, 25. Perfectly fine. If you did that method, if you did a guess and check, you should at least have something like that written down to show me your proof that your final guess did work out. Okay? So guess and check does not mean I don't show any work. There has to be something that shows that your statement is true. Okay? Anybody do anything else there?
No.
Okay. I kind of want to do another one of those, but I have another type of problem I need to show you. So let's do one that you don't have to write down. I just want to see if you can answer it. How about that? And then I'll do the last one that I said I was going to do. Okay. So I'll write this next one down. You don't need to. Okay. So here's example 5. You can write it down if you want to, but you don't have to. The sum of 3 consecutive, I can't spell and talk at the same time. 3 consecutive even numbers is 156. What is the smallest? Of the 3 numbers. So a little bit of a different challenge there. Okay? See what you can do there. If you get the answer super quick, see if you can write an equation. Okay? So if you get to the answer super quick, see if you can challenge yourself by writing an equation for this. Does the same logic work with this one?
Technically, yes.
No.
Yeah.
Like the logic that I used on the last one where you take the number and you divide it by 3, what does that give you? 52. And then if you're talking about consecutive numbers, you would want 52, 52, 52. Take 2 away from here and add it to there. So you're saying 50 plus 52 plus 54 equals 156. Let me verify. There we go. Okay. Those of you that I challenged to come up with an equation, were you able to? Okay. So, let's call x the smallest of the 3 numbers. So, in my set here, I'm going to call 50 x. What would 52 be? Isn't that 2 more than x? X plus 2. How could I write 54 with regards to x? So I could write that I am adding these three numbers, and the result is 156. Huh. So if I combine my like terms, I have 3x plus 6 equals 156. Let's see if we get that same answer that we got before. Subtracting 6, 3x equals 150. And I get x equals 50. Is that the smallest number on the list? It is, so that does work. How is that similar to the one we just did? Could you write an equation for this one?
Yes.
What would it be? The smallest number I'm going to call x. Plus what? X plus 1. And then x plus 2. Why isn't it plus 2 and plus 4 like this one was? Even numbers are 2 numbers apart, correct? Regular numbers are just 1 apart, so I'd set that equal to 81. It's another way of solving it. What if I said consecutive odd numbers?
So it'd be
It would still be plus 2 and plus 4. It's just your answer better be an odd number, because you can only start at an odd number, add 2 to get another odd number, right? Okay, those ones are kind of fun. One more problem for you. Ready? Okay. Let's see. Yes, please write this one down because this one's a little different. Can you figure out the answer?
yeah.
If you have an answer, raise your hand. Okay? All right, if you have an answer, say it out loud.
32.
What did I hear there? I heard 3, and I heard -2. Did I hear anything else there?
38.
38. Any other numbers?
Wait. Oh, no, never mind. I didn't get 38.
Okay, what'd you get then?
I got 3.
You got 3. Okay. I was going to say 38's kind of out there, but we'll see. I don't know what the answer is. So. She's almost to 1. Anybody else have any other answers? If nobody has anything different than this, then I'm hoping one of these is the answer. That's my hope. Now, my brain on these ones goes straight to an equation. Okay? And I just start translating it literally word for word. First word is 3. There's my translation. Decreased by. The product.
X, 6x.
The product means I'm going to multiply the next two things they tell me. So 6 and a number is equal to -15. That's where my brain goes. Subtract 3. Negative 6x equals negative 18. Divide by negative 6. And who's the winner? 3. So sorry, negative 2s. Sorry, negative 2s. So what's the hardest part of these? Putting it into the equation for a problem like this, yeah? That would be the hardest one. Again, if you reason through it a different way, that's fine. You just need to have some work supporting your logic so that if I were to ask you, you could say, oh, I did this and that's why I subtracted this or whatever. Does that make sense? Okay. Your homework posted on Google Classroom. You do not need to write out the problems. You just need to solve them for homework. Okay? Happy studying.